I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. More devastating news for Donald Trump's co-defendant in the sprawling RICO racketeering criminal case in Fulton County, Georgia, who also happens to be Donald Trump's unindicted co-conspirator in special counsel Jack Smith's federal criminal case in Washington, D.C. against Donald Trump for Trump trying to overthrow the 2020 election along with the unindicted co-conspirator. Yes, I'm talking about John Eastman, Donald Trump's former MAGA lawyer. He's still MAGA, make attorneys get attorneys or make attorneys get arrested. John Eastman is embroiled as well in State Bar of California proceedings where the Office of Chief Trial Counsel for the State Bar of California has been prosecuting an action that we've been covering here on the MeidasTouch Network to take away John Eastman's legal license. Yes, to disbar John Eastman from ever practicing law again. John Eastman, a former law professor at Chapman University here in Southern California, actually was a fairly well-known professor before going full make attorney, get arrested lawyer, before going full MAGA. And these proceedings against Eastman by the State Bar to revoke his license for his involvement in the January 6th insurrection and trying to overthrow our democracy have been taking place for some time. However, back in August, when special counsel Jack Smith indicted Donald Trump and Eastman was an unindicted co-conspirator in the Washington, D.C. federal case, Eastman requested of the State Bar Court that there be an abatement, an indefinite pause in the proceedings, a stay, if you will, pending the outcome of special counsel Jack Smith's criminal case against Donald Trump in Washington, D.C. Whenever that ends, then Eastman said, then we can resume the proceedings here. The State Bar of California, in prosecuting this action of John Eastman here in California before a State Bar court, said, Judge, no. John Eastman's accused of some very serious misconduct trying to overthrow our democracy, number one. Number two, Eastman is a clear and present danger to the profession, to the legal profession, as he will continue to use his law degree to cause harm in a predatory manner to try to fundamentally destroy our democracy. And Judge, that is a big problem. We can't indefinitely stop this. But most fundamentally, John Eastman waived any right to invoke his Fifth Amendment rights. He's already testified, Judge, in the proceedings here. He's testified for like 8 hours in connection with the Office of Chief Trial Counsel's prosecution of him. We've been doing this prosecution now for quite some time, and it's disingenuous for John Eastman to all of a sudden say, oh, early August was the first time he thought that maybe he should be able to invoke his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. One of the things the Office of Chief Trial Counsel argued is Eastman, when he testified before the January 6th committee, invoked his Fifth Amendment rights against self-incrimination. He was even asked about State Bar proceedings that were taking place on or around the time or that he expected to take place. So he knew then when he invoked his Fifth Amendment there that there was a potential for self-incrimination. He invoked his Fifth Amendment rights against self-incrimination. Then in Fulton County, when he was called before the special purpose grand jury, before Fani Willis, Fulton County District Attorney, indicted, he invoked the Fifth Amendment there. So he knew how to invoke his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. But here, before the State Bar proceedings, Eastman testified. He's testified for a significant period of time. He's waived his right to now try to stay or abate these proceedings and invoke his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination because he's testified. He knew the implications that he could self-incriminate himself based on his prior invocations, but he did not invoke here. Also, a federal judge in California, a well-respected federal judge from the Central District Southern Division, Judge David Carter, previously issued an order saying that John Eastman was engaged in a coup in search of a legal theory with Donald Trump, and made a finding that more probably than not, John Eastman and Donald Trump committed crimes like conspiracy and obstruction with respect to trying to overthrow our government. That's a federal finding. So Eastman knew the implications of testifying. He's testified here. Your Honor, State Bar proceeding, Your Honor, he's waived his Fifth Amendment. Let's go. Let's take away his legal license. And we got to get going with these proceedings. The judge agreed. The judge rejected John Eastman's attempt to try to stay or stop or abate the proceedings. And the judge said, John Eastman, you've waived your right to invoke the Fifth Amendment at this stage. Let's pull up the order right now and let's show you the highlights of the order. Here it is right here, where the State Bar Court says on August 4th, 2023, John Eastman filed this motion to abate, following a few days after Donald Trump was indicted in Washington, D.C. Eastman claims that the abatement is necessary because he fears that he's going to be indicted. He's an unindicted co-conspirator, and he fears he will be indicted in the Washington, D.C. case. Then it goes on to say that the Office of Chief Trial Counsel on August 10th filed an opposition, raising the issues that I've discussed here on this video. And then it says, prior to this court ruling, Eastman was then indicted in Georgia on August 14th. So then there were some additional filings, and the Office of Chief Trial Counsel for the State Bar said, this doesn't change anything, Your Honor. He still waived his Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination. The court agrees. It says, respondent has waived his Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination. It says, in this disciplinary proceeding, this is what the court's saying, in this disciplinary proceeding to revoke his law license, Eastman has already testified regarding certain topics and allegations that overlap with the allegations in the Fulton County indictment without asserting his Fifth Amendment privilege. In a State Bar disciplinary case, an attorney does not hold the equivalent protection against being summoned to testify as a person accused in a criminal trial. The attorney may be compelled to testify, but may refuse to answer questions on the ground that the testimony would be self-incriminating. Goes on to cite a bunch of law for that same proposition. And then on page 3, it says, respondent was fully cognizant at the timing and method to exercise his Fifth Amendment. 1, here are the reasons. 1, on December 9th, 2021, respondent set for a deposition before the January 6th committee. He answered some basic questions, but then invoked his Fifth Amendment right over 145 times as he was questioned about his actions surrounding the 2020 elections. And he was specifically asked if one of the reasons he was invoking was because of his fear of a State Bar proceeding. And he said yes, in addition to a number of other reasons. And the court says the exchange demonstrates that he was aware then about the need to invoke his Fifth Amendment rights if that's what he wanted to do here in these State Bar proceedings. Then it goes on to say on March 22, 2022, there was more indicia of respondent's potential criminal prosecution for his actions surrounding the 2020 election. The court, this is the federal court, Judge David Carter, made the finding that he was engaged in a coup in search of a legal theory. And then it says, in addition to the December 9, 2021 deposition, on August 31, 2022, respondent appeared before the Fulton County special grand jury at that time and also invoked the Fifth Amendment there. Finally, during a February 27, 2023 initial status conference here, respondent contemplated seeking an abatement there. So the court says, look, for all of these reasons, you got the December 9, 2021 testimony before the January 6th committee where he invoked the Fifth. March 22, 2022, Judge David Carter says that he's involved in a coup in search of a legal theory. So that should have signified that he could be criminally prosecuted. Then August 31, 2022, he goes before the special purpose grand jury. He invokes the fifth. Then February 27, 23, he talks about an abatement, yet he continues to testify here. And he testified before in these very proceedings for a significant period of time. And as a result, that constitutes a waiver. And then the court goes on to say, but even more fundamentally and significantly, he's charged of some of the most serious wrongdoing that exists, period, full stop. And it's not in the interest of the public to let this menace, the court says it hasn't ruled yet, but indicating, I think, where the court's going to rule. But this man, Eastman, is a menace to people. He's using his law license in a predatory way, and there is a public interest in having an expeditious outcome of these state bar proceedings to potentially remove John Eastman's legal license. In other words, MAGA stands for Make Attorneys Get Attorneys. Anything that Donald Trump touches goes to utter and complete crap. John Eastman now finds himself as an unindicted co-conspirator in a Washington, D.C. federal case, a co-defendant in a Fulton County criminal case, RICO criminal violations, a state bar proceeding in California, which he tried to block, and the court just said denied. Eastman will continue to go through the state bar proceeding. I predict we will find out in the very near future. Bye-bye, law license, Eastman. Bye-bye. I hope destroying your reputation was worth it for not even getting any money and for doing it for somebody who could care less about your life. Some things I'll never understand, but nonetheless, I will provide you the data and the facts about their behavior. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. You know what to do. MeidasTouch.com. Check it out for all the updates on everything MeidasTouch. Go to MeidasTouch.com. Also, wherever you get audio podcasts, subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast and have a great day.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.